Oh,
Hello and welcome to the Nintendo Pipeline Podcast. I'm your host, One Up Muffin, but you can call me Jared. And today I'm joined by.
sorry, I can't keep a straight face. You sound like you sound like a robot.
It's my intro voice.
He's like, I am. Yeah, I'm CMM. I'm Clay. I'm here.
Cool.
And I'm
I'm
the only
queer.
one holding it together right now, I guess.
And you are?
James.
Okay.
The only one holding it together. Yeah.
I'm the only one holding it together. I
Yeah.
forgot my name though. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the way we're going. It's 9 o'clock on a Sunday, man. Come on.
Yeah.
So we're in a wild season for Nintendo. There was a Switch 2 Direct announced for April 2nd, and we said, oh, there's going to be no news until then. And then there was a Switch 1 Direct out of nowhere.
Surprise.
We're going to talk
Oh yeah,
about
that was probably the funniest possible thing they could do.
Oh yeah,
I
5 days
agree.
before your biggest announcement of 7 years, and just put a few new games out. Why not?
And
Yep.
honestly, they kind of handled it the funniest way they could too, with the release dates on some of these games.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, that's true.
we will definitely
We'll get to that.
I mean, do we want to start with the biggest hitters first and then go down?
Sure. Why not?
All right. Number one, Rhythm Heaven.
That's right,
First new
baby.
Rhythm Heaven in about 10 years. Is that it?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
close, if not.
it's the first fully new Rhythm Heaven in
Yeah.
like 15
Yeah,
15
since
years by
Fever.
the time it comes out.
Wow.
And you know what's upsetting about that is I remember buying Rhythm Heaven Fever day one, so like that passage of time just aged me a little bit.
See, you're a better man than I am because I was deep in the World of Warcraft hole in 2011 and I didn't end
Oof.
up buying Rhythm Heaven Fever until like after the Wii U was out.
So
Oof.
I bought
Got-
Rhythm Heaven Fever and the DS one new, but they were in bargain bin stats. I got them. They were like $20.
Yeah.
Damn.
It
Enemies
was
of
$10
Rhythm
on
Heaven.
Amazon. It was $10 on Amazon. I almost felt bad
Yeah.
when I got that game, and it was so good. This is probably the most exciting thing from the Direct.
Oh, it is. It is.
Yeah.
For me
For me too.
personally.
Yeah, for me as well.
I love that game. That
Yeah.
series.
I love
It's
Rhythm Heaven.
such a fun series, and just it being a trend to release it at the very end of the console life cycle is pretty funny.
Well, I remember
tragedy, but it's funny.
I bought the DS one day one, which also launched with the DSi at the same time. So I remember buying a DSi and Rhythm Heaven, and that was great.
Did Rhythm Heaven really launch on the same day as the DSi?
Yep, they timed it.
That's crazy. I don't remember that because I remember buying a DSi day one, and I remember buying Rhythm Heaven pretty early.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's probably my least favorite one, honestly.
The DS one.
Yeah.
I like the DS one a lot. It's hard. I think Mega Mix is probably my least favorite.
Really?
Just because it's like I don't know about the structure of it, and like some of the early games in it are like super piss easy.
Yeah, that's true. The structure
it's kind of weird. It definitely gets better.
Yeah.
Like it's still really good. It's just I think it's the one that I find the least. Yeah.
I really like the original games in it too, like Lumberjack.
Yeah.
And I also I didn't play the GBA one, so stuff like Space Dance was new to me.
Yeah, I imported the GBA one.
So yeah, I'd say Fever is probably my favorite one overall.
Yeah,
it's great. Was the DS one? Was it the controls that made you like it less, or the mini games?
Yeah, it was the controls.
The flicking is just a little less precise than just button presses, which you need absolute precision in those games.
Right, and I feel I did kind of feel like the precision was a game problem and not a me problem because my rhythm is pretty good.
Wow.
From years of playing rhythm games, not from any latent musical talent or any training on real instruments
or anything useful is what you're saying.
No usefulness here. It's all Beatmania and Guitar Hero and DDR and but yeah, there's not much to talk about with this because they showed 30 seconds.
It's just
every mini
is great.
every mini game looked good. Sun
Yep.
Ku, I guess,
Yep.
beat cancer. Hell
Yep.
yeah.
That's good.
Hell yeah.
Because the brother is back.
Because fuck cancer.
The music was catchy.
Yeah. Well, they had like one track that they let us listen to.
Yeah. It was cute. It looked like Rhythm Heaven.
Yep.
Like they clearly got Ko Takeuchi back.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I could have asked for other than a not
Basically, yeah.
2026 release date. I thought that
Yeah.
shit would be out this summer, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. That's far away.
That is a long time.
I am glad that not that I think there was another route, but I am glad that it's a fully new Rhythm Heaven and not a greatest hits.
Again, yeah. I don't think you can do a greatest
I
hits
don't think
twice
you
in
can
a
do
row.
that twice. Yeah.
Well, the only way that would have worked is if they had just ported Megamix, and
Yeah.
that would have been kind of lame.
It would have been extremely lame.
I would have still probably bought it, but it would have
Same.
been lame.
Yeah, same.
I'm glad that they're actually doing it in 2026, just to keep it away from like the beginning of the Switch 2, because that's a game that can so easily get buried.
That's true.
Yeah.
What's to come.
That's what I figure. That's the only thing I can think of that's the like impetus for it.
Yeah, I think it'll be clearer when we see the Switch 2 Direct next week in terms of like the thinking behind the software release schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
anyway,
think this Direct was really telling people, hey, if you have a Switch 1, don't worry, there's still going to be a ton to play.
Except some of it is going to be next year for some reason.
Yeah, there's stuff to play like for the foreseeable future, which is
yeah.
Don't worry, guys. We know that the bots are gonna buy every Switch 2 for the next 2.5 years.
Yeah, so
but you'll still be able to play Rhythm Heaven next year.
That's true.
What if I told you?
Rhythm Heaven.
What if I told you that there was another game that was announced that was a sequel to a game we last saw on the 3DS? Wouldn't that be wild?
That would be crazy.
I know.
I can't imagine what that would be.
And that would be Tomodachi Life living the dream.
Not Tomodachi Plaza.
Listen.
James had a stroke before recording.
Yeah, reading because they announced a Tamagotchi game too.
Yeah.
Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchi. Yeah, I ain't.
That's how he
shit.
pronounced it. I don't know.
Yeah,
if that's how it's pronounced.
I ain't saying that. It's Tamagotchi.
I always assumed it was the phonetic equivalent of Tamagotchi because that's just the Japanese word for friend. But what do I know? I'm merely a baka gaijin.
You're merely a mortal. But yeah, Tomodachi Life. I'm so fucking stoked. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. It's one of those. Yeah.
Did you take the ending as them like stealth announcing gay?
I did not at all. I did not see that. I understand that people saw that afterwards, and like
that's what I saw. But
yeah, I mean, it's like, so the thing with Tomodachi Life is that like even without being explicitly gay, it's extremely gay anyway. So I didn't really think anything of it. It's kind of where I was at.
Yeah, it's
but I hope so.
Fruity coded. They can't not have gay in it. That would cause such a like unbelievable uproar in the year big 2025.
Yeah. But it looked great. Obviously there was some performance stuff in the video. Who fucking cares? It's Tomodachi Life.
Was there really? I didn't even notice it looked like there were performance problems.
There was when they were having the fight throwing objects at each other, like the frame rate like tanked. Which again, I don't care.
Go crazy.
I don't care. It's Tomodachi Life. I was expecting this game to show up at some point, but at this point, I honestly thought it was going to be a Switch 2 game because of the microphone and because of how late it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't even think about the microphone. It is kind of lame that we don't have.
Yeah.
We don't have that.
I wonder if you'll be able to on the Switch 2.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious how that situation will play out.
Or maybe, it could be also a mobile app too.
They'll have some weird mobile app connection.
I think it would be fun if they do kind of like how they did for the New Horizons, like the Nook Link. I think one of those for Tomodachi Life would be fun, especially if it's an easier way to facilitate Mii's because Mii sharing on Switch is awful. You can't, like 3DS and Wii U got away with it with QR codes, but you can't use those on Switch.
Because they
It's
didn't put
not
a
easy.
camera on it for some reason.
Yeah, it's not easy to share Mii's, so I would be very down for like a Tomodachi Life connection on there that's like about Mii swapping or whatever. They have ears.
So this is yeah. Now that we've made it to that, this is clearly another one that we don't have a lot of
Yeah,
information on. But I have a
it looks
question.
like more Tomodachi Life.
sure. What's the question?
Do you guys think that you're going to be able to like designate a Mii for yourself and like kind of walk around the island?
I wonder.
Yeah,
Or do you think it's going to be exclusively menu map driven like the 3DS game was?
Yeah, it was a little unclear because like the 3DS one is very segmented. And this one kind of almost looked like everything was kind of just available. Like they were like in an area where there was like shops and stuff around as opposed to like very segmented areas. So I don't really know. And my gut says no to your question.
See, my gut says yes.
Interesting.
I don't think it's going to be like a big deal. Like I don't think it's going to be like Animal Crossing or anything, but I do think that they're going to let you like walk around the island. And
I do wonder if they'll try to get like the Animal Crossing crowd. Though.
I think I think that the crowd. Do you mean the 50 million sales numbers? Like, because I think the crossover audience is already there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess just in general.
I don't know if it'll sell like New Horizons.
No,
New Horizons sold like ludicrously. Well, I think if you think about like what did it sell on the 3DS, like 6 million?
Yeah,
it was like
something.
The 11th best-selling game or something. I don't know. It was up there.
Yeah, and what did New Leaf sell? Like 13.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised like if you saw it do half of Animal Crossing again.
Yeah,
like in the 20 million range.
Wow.
That game has such immense like meme material.
Yeah.
You know what's gonna hurt it? It's gonna be like genuinely hurt a little bit by the fact that the share button is basically dead.
Yeah, for like social media.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, built in.
I legitimately think that that's gonna take a bit of a toll on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not to spoil the next direct, but I do wonder if they'll have a solution for that on the Switch 2.
Well, I mean, I think that they're gonna. I'm kind of the opinion that they're gonna not bring Miiverse back, but I think they're gonna cook something similar to Miiverse.
Try a social network again, just because they know like the current ones are very poisoned.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't. Was it on the docket? I forgot. It is, but I think that they already announced something that's kind of a like, hey, Twitter is a bit of a hole.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Download this.
The other thing about Tomodachi Life that I wanted to mention is like the impressions for those tweets are like off the charts. There's obviously been a lot of pent up demand for a new Tomodachi Life. It's kind of crazy. Like I want to say it surpassed the Switch 2 tweet in terms of impressions. Yeah,
that's amazing.
It's the most impressioned tweet on Nintendo's account, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Or something like
it's either that or like the second.
That or the second one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Tomodachi Life kind of popped off, I think, on TikTok. Within the past like 3 or 4 years.
It has.
I don't know if it still is big, but there was a point in time where apparently TikTok was like flooded with people doing Tomodachi Life music videos.
Yeah, I've seen some of those.
Legitimately a game like years ahead of its time, and ludicrously so if you count Collection on the DS.
Yeah. Yep.
Did they ever translate that? Like a fan translation?
There is I think there is a fan translation.
Yeah.
Maybe an incomplete one, but I think you can download it and play it if you want.
Yeah.
I've actually never played a Tomodachi. I really want to though. It's just I
They're
don't know
so
what it is
wild.
with it, but
It is remarkably charming. It's very fun
Yeah.
to make all your friends, and then a bunch of bullshit me's.
Yep. Yeah.
Some of which you might have had as a kid that aren't quite funny anymore.
Just some of which may not be kosher anymore.
Yeah. But no, yeah, Tamagotchi Life was great. I'll be honest, I didn't spend that much time in the 3DS one.
Yeah.
Not certainly not as much as an Animal Crossing or something like that, but I did play it quite a bit. And
Yeah. So like something interesting is my sister and I are both Animal Crossing girlies. We love Animal Crossing. And she played a lot of New Leaf. But when Tomodachi Life came out, she was like very completely absorbed by Tomodachi Life. I think even in a way that she wasn't by Animal Crossing, and we both love Animal Crossing. So like I think, you know, again that crossover is very huge, and I think just casually like Tomodachi Life just brings the craziness in a way that's really fun, and you don't really have to do that much work to get it. You know?
my girlfriend loves like New Horizons. Like that was her
Yeah.
like first Animal Crossing she really got into. So I'm curious if she'll enjoy Tomodachi Life.
yeah, I
It'll
sent my
be interesting to
sister.
see.
I sent my sister the link to the trailer like right after the direct ended. And
Yep.
not only did she flip out about it, but apparently I didn't actually really know this, but my older niece, who is 12 now,
Mhm.
no, she's 11. She'll be turning 12 this year. That was like the first game she ever played on
Oh wow.
my
Oh.
sister's 3DS, and she was apparently like addicted to it when she was like 7 or 8.
Okay, damn,
So
yeah.
she's also like flipping out about it.
Yeah. There's a lot.
I legitimately think that game is gonna sell like ludicrously well.
Yeah.
That's great.
I think there's a lot of like younger people who may have grown up with a 3DS that are kind of about to pop off really hard with this, and we've already kind of seen some of those pop offs like through like Twitter engagements and whatnot. So I'm excited for people to get. I'm excited myself to play it, but
Yeah.
Well, and especially in a world where video games are like ubiquitous now, and like
yeah,
there's not any weird stigmas about little girls playing them and everything.
right,
Tamagotchi Life is very much a like bridge the gap type of game.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Like younger people or girls may think it's cute. Older people and like I guess me just finds it very charming and insane. So it's like, yeah, you have like the right amount of insanity, I guess. And I mean, who doesn't love seeing like the worst possible things happen to your Mii's, like marrying the worst people and shit?
Yeah, very, very excited.
But also 2026.
Yeah, another 2026 one.
Another
2026
Yeah.
is about to be amazing for Nintendo.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a
yeah,
better year for the Switch than 2018 was.
yeah. And I liked 2018, so
The next two games I wanted to talk about are two ones we've seen a lot of before, but they showed new footage here.
mhm.
That's Metroid Prime 4. We got a new trailer of, and Pokemon ZA.
I would
Yeah,
like to interject and say we have not seen a lot of either of
Well,
these
we've seen a little
yeah,
bit. We've seen some
yeah.
footage.
Yeah,
A teeny
sure. We
bit.
knew they existed.
More of
Yeah,
ZA. We saw a lot of
yeah.
ZA recently.
Yeah, ZA, I feel like I've seen a decent bit of. Metroid Prime 4 feels like Tears of the Kingdom, where they
They're not
give
showing
like
anything.
the tiniest couple of trailers and barely showing anything. Um,
Or like
which, yeah,
Breath of the Wild, where they only showed like the Great Plateau for a while.
yeah.
This
But
definitely feels like we've only seen the very beginning of the game.
Prime 4, I really like the one. I like the area that they've been showing off. That's like a
Mhm.
jungle.
It's very colorful.
Yeah.
I also very much, in terms of like gameplay stuff, which they've again shown limited things for so far. I know they have the whole like psychic ability
Yeah,
thing,
you can open
and
doors with those.
yeah, but the most interesting thing that they showed in that small trailer was being able to like steer the beam trajectory.
Mm,
I thought that was
Yeah.
fun.
that's a fun power.
Reminds me of the beetle from Skyward Sword, which is a cool
Yeah.
Or
mechanic.
like I was thinking of the Batarang from like the Arkham Asylum.
Oh right, yeah, that's right. I forgot. Yeah. But they didn't really show that much.
I think that it looks fine.
Mhm.
I think though that the important thing to remember as far as like people tempering their expectations or whatever, people seem to think like, oh, it doesn't look that great. It's not a hype trailer.
Hmm.
I'm old enough to remember Metroid Prime 1's like hype cycle,
Yep.
and everybody thought that game looked like shit too.
Yep.
And Metroid Prime 2's hype cycle was the same. Metroid Prime 3 had a slightly more interesting hype cycle because everybody was like, "It's a shooter with the Wiimote,"
Yeah.
which that has like a certain appeal,
Yep.
like a certain like novelty to it that everybody was looking forward to. But
Yeah.
nobody thought Metroid Prime 1 looked good.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, "Metroid Prime, this looks boring. It looks slow. Why is it first person? Why are you like looking around and scanning things?"
Yep.
I don't think Metroid Prime's gameplay trailers very well because it's a
Yeah.
slow-paced kind of adventure game for the most part about walking around and like reading things on the computer.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's really just all those are my main thoughts on it. I think the trailer looks fine. I suspect that game is going to be really good.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
but people won't know it till they get their hands on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or like I do think we'll see a trailer later on that'll show like a lot more parts of the game, and that could
Yeah.
just get more excitement in general.
I
Just
mean, we'll
seeing more than
see.
just the one area.
Yeah.
I do think it's a little bit absurd that they're still not even locking in like a time
Yeah.
period, which I guess
Yeah.
probably has something to do with the Switch too. That's the only thing I can think of.
That's all
That
I
would
can
be
I
think of,
hope.
yeah.
because
Even
like
even
it is.
Pokemon has late 2025.
Yeah, yeah, they can't even give us that. Which I
Yeah.
mean, Pokemon is obviously November. Pokemon is
Yeah.
always November, except for the one time it's not November, which was
Yeah.
fucking
Legends.
Arceus.
Yeah, Arceus, yeah.
I will say I
Uh,
like the ZA footage has been looking really good.
I
I
think
liked it.
ZA looks like trash, visually
Wow.
speaking.
Vision
Visually
sure.
speaking,
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
game will be a lot of fun because Arceus looked pretty bad too,
Oh,
visually
Arceus
speaking.
is
Yeah.
ugly as hell, but it's a
Uh,
great game.
But and then even the thing is like Scarlet and Violet are ugly games, but they still have like a visual appeal and intrigue to them
Yeah.
Yeah.
to the way the worlds are laid out. So I don't really have any like worry about CA.
No,
The
I
only
think
Yeah.
it looks fun. The night mechanic
The
is
night thing was
interesting.
neat.
It's kind of like not like the Purge, but like anything happens at night in what is it? What is Lumino City or whatever?
Yeah,
I would
Lumiose,
play the
whatever.
hell out of the Purge in freaking Pokemon Paris, dude.
God. Yeah, I thought the night stuff looked interesting. I kinda like how, like, yeah, the world kinda, like, switches over during that time, and again, I'm someone who does not like mainline Pokemon or RPGs, but the game's combat looks kinda interesting to me because of the action elements, and I do
Yeah.
really like the whole, like, sneak attack thing at night. Like, I think that's just kinda funny.
Also, like
It
catching
is
Pokemon in
pretty fun.
Arceus is just really fun. Just throwing
Yeah.
balls at Pokemon's heads is great.
It was.
Yeah.
It was fun to have to like aim the ball and everything. It was
Sneaking up
Yeah.
on them.
I uh I just wish it looked a little. I know I
Mhm.
just said both games are ugly. I wish that they looked a little more like the character models looked a little more like Arceus.
Mm.
Like
Oh, yeah.
the kind of like flat doll style that this
Yeah.
well, it's worse in Scarlet and Violet, but this has it too. I I just doesn't have that same soul. The character designs are still good. Like the character
Yeah.
art, like the concept art for the characters is fantastic. I like the way
Yeah.
they look. I like the way they're designed. I just wish the models looked a little bit better. Like maybe a flatter cell shading on them or something. Give them a more
Yeah.
cartoony aesthetic would.
I know we went through, Balcony Gate last time, with the world visuals, but I
Oh,
do like I do like the city, and I do like the, like, weird stuff, like, the, like, weird, like, teleport pad that launches you onto the roof or whatever, like, I find that stuff charming. Um, I don't really have strong feelings about it, but I get why people do,
I'm looking
especially at this
forward to
point.
playing it. Arceus
Yeah,
is one of my top Pokemon games, to be honest. So if it's
yeah.
anything like that, I'll probably really enjoy this one.
We finally know what the Z-A ZA whatever is
Oh yeah,
now.
you go from rank Z to rank
Yeah,
A.
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I didn't really expect that. I just kind of expected it to have something to do with Zygarde, which I imagine it still probably does.
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. Um,
I think the logo, yeah, the ZA is like Zygarde's colors. So
yeah. I mean, I'm sure there'll be Pokemon shenanigans for people who care about that. For everyone who doesn't, it'll be fun just like attacking things with the battle changes, catching stuff, and then pegging trainers in the back of the head with Pokeballs at night.
it's not the
doing
direction I
what?
thought it was going.
Yeah, I realized what came out of my mouth after it was already out there.
Uh huh.
Anyway, moving on.
Anyways, Clay, why don't you share one of the things you were excited for?
Oh yes, okay, all right. Here we go. I am stoked for Gradius Origins.
Mhm.
Um, so Gradius Origins is a arcade-focused collection of Gradius and Salamander games. It specifically has Gradius, Salamander, Life Force, Gradius 2, Gradius 3, Salamander 2, and now a new game, which is Salamander 3. There's a bunch of different versions of each, apparently 17 in total. The trailer was okay for this in the direct, but the website definitely the general trailer they have for the game definitely is much better. Um, because the direct trailer made it kind of just look like a very basic, like, oh yeah, here's Gradius and there's a border and like whatever. No. So this is another M2 Shot Triggers lineup or entry. And not only do you have all the versions of the not all of the versions, but many of the arcade versions of the game, including a couple of prototypes. Um, every game has an easy mode and an invincible mode option. And the easy mode option is neat because it's like kind of a nice middle ground between like, you know, literally like you can't die and the kind of the insane difficulty of some of the arcade versions. Where it basically just shrinks your ship's hitbox. Um, and a bunch of the games have a training mode as well that actually show detailed hitbox information, let you practice specific segments. Like like it's all very thoughtful, in my opinion. And then there's also stuff like the gallery, the soundtracks, which have some of the arranged songs from the CD versions, which are fantastic. They even have like an enemy index. So and obviously there's like online leaderboards and all the stuff that you would expect, but um, yeah, it just looks so nice. And I'm really excited to see what Salamander 3 is like because for anyone who was paying attention not that long ago, there was the Castlevania collection for the DS games, which is also by M2. And for that game, the bonus game was basically a remake of Haunted Castle, but good. So this is kind of another Konami collection that they're doing where they're making a new game in it. This time being Salamander 3, and they already did like GGLS 3 for the LS collection. That didn't make it here, so I'm just really excited to see what the whole new game is like on top of the conversions of
It's awesome that they're
the
making
arcade
new games
versions.
for these packs.
Yeah, and it
It's a
seems
really,
like
really cool thing.
at least based on like the limited footage, because the website has more footage of each game, but it does appear like they traditionally do that Salamander 3 was like made on like actual arcade hardware.
Wow.
So I'm
That's sick.
curious to see how that plays out, but yeah, it's such a cool collection. I know it shares like there's the Konami Arcade Classic collection that Hamster did that's already available, and it has some of these games on it. But the Gradius Origins collection is just much more in depth. It doesn't do the home console versions, but it does have like lots of the arcade revisions and a couple of prototypes and stuff. Like I think it mentions like for one of the games, but like there's basically three versions. It's like initial version, middle version, final version, or whatever in terms of like, you know, actual like arcade revisions in the for
Right.
the final games and stuff. So
Because the home console version of Salamander is Life Force, right?
yeah, so
In
it's very
America,
confusing.
and it's pretty
So
different, isn't it?
yeah, so Salamander is the Western name for Life Force, except Life Force Arcade is actually a completely different game as well. So like if Japan, I think it's like Salamander is named Life Force, but that Life Force is not the arcade Life Force. That's a separate game. They just like used that name. It's very confusing. Um, so basically, like a Life Force that's included in this collection, like the actual Life Force, was only released in Japanese arcades, so it only has a Japanese, um, you know, a Japanese version on this. But yeah, Salamander, you do get like, you know, the regional names for whatever the correct versions are. And like the big thing they're making like a big deal about is the Gradius 3 AM show version, which I was trying to find information on because I could not seem to find anything. I know someone suggested that it was like a potentially like a maybe a trade show prototype or like an early like you know like for location tests or whatever before it was changed, and supposedly it's just much more difficult, which is crazy because Gradius 3 Arcade is already insane. Um, so there's also what they didn't mention in the trailer is there's also a Nemesis prototype as well, which is just Gradius 1. So them having a couple of prototypes in there, plus the different regional versions, plus like, you know, the galleries and training modes and all that stuff. I just think it's just such a robust collection. It would have been nice to see stuff like Gradius 4 or 5, but it seems that they're very much focusing specifically on the arcade version, so I kind of get why they're not part of it. There's still 17 versions of the game, you know, in this collection, so all that is to say, I'm really excited. I think it looks fantastic, and I hope people check it out. I think
Yeah.
Konami's just been doing great with collections and giving them to the right people lately.
Yeah, it's awesome to
Um,
see them bring back all these old games, and being pretty active on that front.
yeah,
And M2 is who you want, so
Yeah.
yeah. They already had them for the Contra collection. They had them for the Castlevania collection. They had them for both the Advance and DS collection. So, you know, this is the fifth collection I think that they're doing for them
That's
in
pretty
and
recent years.
it's really crazy they're just letting them make Salamander 3.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
when they announced that in the direct, I just assumed that that would be like something else. They were like announcing something else. And
right,
then
yeah,
when I looked, like it was like, "Oh, here's the collection," and then coming later, like
right,
on the eShop or whatever. But no, it's
yeah,
just like in there. It's cool.
yeah. They have a tendency of doing that with like the collections they're allowed to. Like the when Sega did the Aleste collection, a big like kind of like Salamander 3 here, a big like the big like thing about that collection was not the collection, but was that they're making a new game like for it essentially that's part of the collection. So I see that they're doing the same thing here with kind of Salamander 3 as like the you know like the lead feature, like the big thing, which makes sense. But I just think it's really cool.
Yeah. Definitely.
So that's my piece.
Oh yeah. James, is there anything you would like to highlight
Um,
next?
I guess I can do a couple quick ones because
Yeah,
you guys
for
aren't
sure.
going to be able to say anything about this weeb bullshit.
This weeb
It's
shit,
true.
yeah.
So they the well they opened on Dragon Quest,
They
which
did.
we knew existed,
Mhm.
and that is what it is. If Dragon Quest One's a weird game. It's like the prototype JRPG. Uh, it's like 4 hours long. And I mean that they're remaking that in HD 2D. But the thing that really got me was after that trailer rolled, the AI Somnium Files logo came up, and I did not expect to see that series again anytime soon. Uh, but mostly because I know Uchikoshi has been working on the 100 line, that game he's doing with the Danganronpa guy
Yeah.
that comes out like next month or May, I think. But there is an explanation for that. I guess he's only supervising this one. It should be pretty interesting because it takes the Nirvana Initiative game. I haven't played the sequel yet, but to my understanding, it takes place a pretty decent time, like multiple years after the first Somnium Files game, just based on the ages of the characters. This one takes place the day after the Somnium Files.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's funny.
Following the original game's main character, who is not the main character of the sequel. Uchikoshi said that it's very good, but he has to say that, so I don't know. I
Yeah.
trust him implicitly, though he's given me no reason not to trust him. I'm pretty excited that that game exists, because weird stuff like that is like the lifeblood of video games in
So
these dark times.
does it like share? So does it play completely different from AI, or is it like?
It looked like it played the same. It looked like it
Okay.
was still gonna have weird branching paths. It's gonna have like nonsense puzzle rooms that like are almost like unsolvable
Yeah.
without like trial and error. Somnium Files is a very strange game. It's hard to like explain in words the way that game works.
Yeah.
It's not your typical like escape room game like the Zero Escape games are.
Mhm.
The puzzles are very like what is the word? Esoteric.
Mm.
But they have a great vibe. The games have a great vibe.
Yeah, I guess
Drive some people kind of crazy. They might review bomb something on Metacritic. You never know.
yeah.
But again, not a lot to say about it. It was a quick trailer. It's just kind of one of those things of like you don't expect to see something like that, and then they just throw it in your plate anyway.
Yep.
This other one though, we did kind of see this coming. This has been kind of rumored and leaked as like the next big Atlas remaster is the Raito remaster. I'm a little disappointed that it's only the first one.
Mhm.
Because it has been when did Nocturne HD come out? Like 2021?
It's been a while.
It's been like 3-4 years since the SMT3 remaster came out. So for us to only get one of the two Raito games,
Yeah.
we're never getting Digital Devil Saga, which is the one that I'm like was really interested in them remastering. Uh, they're adding a bunch of new demons to it. They're cleaning up the combat a little bit. I think they kind of butchered the game's aesthetic with the remaster. The old game had it has kind of like the Resident Evil remake thing where it has like pre-rendered backgrounds.
Yeah.
So it has that kind of vibe to it, but it looks like these new backgrounds are rendered in engine, so the lighting interacts with everything a lot differently. I think the character models look pretty good, but I'm not a big fan of the way the atmosphere looks anymore. It seems like it's kind of lost a lot of that like that heavy, foggy PlayStation 2 generation aesthetic that
Mm.
really looks good on those old SMT games. But
Yeah.
that could just be the old man in me,
Well, they did
coming out.
they did SMT3, and I believe they redid that in Unity. I don't know if they're
They
doing
did.
the same thing here.
I thought that most of SMT3 looked fine, but there are some moments where if you put like some screenshots side by side, you're just kind of like, eh.
Right.
But it's good that that's gonna be out again for people that want to see it. The Devil Summoner sub-series is a very weird one that has only seen kind of spotty releases in North America. Um, it's a weird. Raito is a sub-series of a sub-series. Let me put it that way.
Right.
Was the
Yeah.
original Raito released in North
Yeah,
America?
both
Okay.
Raitos were released in America. The Devil Summoner series is a game. There's Devil Summoner 1 and Devil Summoner 2, I think. Both of those are Saturn games that did not come out here.
Hmm.
Right.
And then there are the Devil Summoner Soul Hacker games, which Soul Hacker 1 didn't come out here on its original consoles, which I believe were the Saturn and the PS1, but the 3DS got a remake of it that we did get.
Right.
And then we did get Soul Hackers 2, which is a game that most people don't seem to like very much.
Right.
That was the one that didn't end up coming out on the Switch. It came out on like
Right.
PC, Xbox Series, and PS5, or it might have been
Yeah. Or it
PS4
might have
and
been
Xbox.
PS4. Yeah.
But yeah, both Raito games. They're in the Devil Summoner sub-series somehow. The thing is, like, the Devil Summoner and Soul Hacker games are like kind of proper SMT games. They take place in either the present day or the near future post-apocalypse. Raito is set in the 30s.
Oh. Okay.
Like it's set in the past, which is cool. You know, you don't have that setting with SMT a lot, or you don't have that setting in any video game really. Like what game takes you back to the 30s?
It's like what, LA Noire or something? I don't even remember
Yeah,
where that game takes you.
or like maybe one of the Mafia games take place
Yeah.
back then. But even
Yeah.
then, this is the 30s Japan.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's exciting. I think the box art's really good. It's another one of those like bullshit situations where a giant publisher, Sega in this case, is going with LRG for their limited edition, which I
Oh,
think is
yeah.
kind of lame. But it is what it is. That's the world we live in. I think limited editions are probably kind of on the way out conceptually,
Yeah.
especially with how prices on physical goods are going to be raising in the next few years. But
Yeah. It's funny because I have no concept for this at all, other than me being like, "Oh yeah, this is like SMT adjacent," and also the guy looks like JoJo. That was pretty much that was it. That was all I had.
Have you ever seen the screenshot of Jack Frost saying "buy it or I'll commit suicide"?
No, but
Because he's
that's
running a shop.
wonderful.
That's from one of the Raito games.
Oh,
So
okay.
I hope that makes it back in.
Yeah.
But that's the I think that's the end of Weeb Hour here. I don't think there's anything else
on that front.
anime on this list.
I
guess
mean,
there's still a couple Japanese things, but not
yeah.
like
If
Yeah.
we don't care about them, we don't care about them though.
yeah.
Like
Those are the three interesting.
Do you want to talk about Saga Frontier too? I don't know.
Oh, I forgot about Saga Frontier 2. That's a cool one. I have no personal stake in Saga. It's just cool that guy is continuing to get to live his dream.
Yeah,
I forgot that guy's name. The Saga director. He's one of the OG Square Enix guys. He's been there like forever.
yeah.
And for some reason they keep letting him do Akitoshi Kawazu. They keep letting that man do his thing. And you know what? You know what? I respect it.
Yeah, and that one was I don't know if that was previously announced to drop that day or if it shadow dropped.
It's shadow. I think that was just a full shadow drop. I don't think we even knew that game existed.
Okay, I don't even know. I know that Eden's been playing it and they really like it, so
I am not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not either.
That seems like an Eden game.
Yeah.
I guess what I wanted to talk about next was there are two Sony studio games that are coming to the Switch by way of at least one by the way of Namco Bandai.
They both
Yeah.
are.
Both are. Okay, so Patapon 1+2 Replay, which is a collection of the first two Patapon games. They're really fun, like strategy rhythm games. Very weird. Originally on the PSP,
Yeah.
and ported to the PS4, and now on the Switch, out of nowhere.
So I've tried to play Patapon before. I just don't understand it. Like I don't understand how it works. There was like a demo. I think it was for Patapon 3, and it was like did the worst at explaining how to play this game. I think the
tutorial
trailer
for one is pretty good. It starts you out pretty slow. I mean, it's basically just like you're doing strategy game type commands, but rhythm. Like
the small trailer that they showed at the Direct is probably the closest I've gotten to understanding how that game plays.
Pon, Patapon.
I think
Yeah,
it's
because you gotta like equip stuff, and I
yeah.
only played the first Patapon on PSP, and I like it. It is a good game.
They're
It's
very
very
charming.
cool to see games like this get a new life
Yeah.
on multiple
On
platforms.
platforms where the audience for those types of games actually lives.
If Sony's not gonna do anything with them, then it's nice that they can come to PC and Switch. I think they're coming to PS5 also.
They are, yeah.
I would
But it's
love oh, go on.
Nothing. I think it's just wild to me that Sony doesn't care enough to like fill out their own meager release schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
Or
what
maybe
or
this is
like
like the exploration of like, hey, we'll put this stuff on everywhere and see how it does, and
yeah,
PlayStation as
man.
well. It's not like it's not coming there, but
Right. It just you would think that they would want to make their own platform a little more attractive. I guess I could see putting them on PC, but putting them on like the rival console is just like
I
Yeah.
think both. Like I think they see Switch as like something like completely
they
different in a
they
way.
can't win against. Like
Yeah.
they're not even in competition. They not saying that they can't beat Nintendo. It's that they're not even like fighting Nintendo. They're not fighting in the same
I
arena.
mean, like Xbox is putting their games on everything because they know they've lost on that front. But like
Yeah.
PlayStation is like, okay, we're not going to put our games on Xbox, but we'll put some of the smaller stuff on Switch and see how it
Yeah.
does.
And then be forced to put MLB on everything.
Yeah.
I'm just saying when you have state of play presentations where like the two big first party announcements are Returnal 2 and Days Gone remastered,
Yeah.
it's just strange to me that you're letting Nintendo take the like reins on anything, even if it is something as small as Patapon and
Yeah.
the other game that they announced in this.
Yeah, which is there a particular reason that Patapon 3 is like is
I
it
don't know.
larger than the first two? Like I just it's interesting to me that they're doing 1 and 2 together, but not
I
3
forgot there
together.
was a third one. Are 1 and 2 the PSP ones?
They're all
on
PSP.
Oh, they're all PSP ones. Oh,
Yeah.
that is
I'm
extra strange. I don't know.
I'm not sure what the reasoning for 3, not
Yeah,
not
I only
joining.
played
Yeah.
1, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other game is not a remaster though, but a brand new game.
Is
Yeah.
it?
I think so.
I wasn't sure,
It's kinda
actually.
unclear. I
No.
think it's new.
It's not a title of any of the old ones,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
and it's coming to
it kinda
PS5,
is.
PC,
It's-
and Switch.
it's a mix.
What do you mean it's a mix?
Well, so those games
It's
were
a Resident Evil
localized.
7 Biohazard situation.
Yeah, yeah. Like they localized those games in the PS2 days as Hot Shots Golf,
Yeah,
and
but this
and
is not like a. It seems like they're just reviving the Hot Shots name in a way, but they've been releasing everybody's golf games for
yeah, they've still been
PS4
putting
and
those
stuff,
out.
but
It's
I think
just
it's very
like
interesting that they're bringing the Hot Shots name back, though. Maybe it's just
yeah,
kind of a fun throwback, but it's
I
definitely
I
not
think,
like
yeah, no, it's cute. Yeah, I like
I
it.
think it's what James said. It's definitely like the Resident Evil 7
oh
Biohazard
yeah. No, I get it.
thing.
Or
Um,
Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Mhm.
yeah, where it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of cute.
Yeah, I love to
Yeah,
say
I mean,
these are super fun arcadey golf games. If you like Mario Golf, you would love this game.
so my
Yeah,
understanding is
So good.
the original game was done by Camelot.
Yes.
Is that correct?
correct.
None of
Original
the
Let's Go
others.
Golf.
No, the other ones were Japan Studio handled it for most of,
Right.
or was like
Rip.
at least on like part of the
I think Clap
development.
Hans
team
was
on it.
always part of it, though. I think they've been around for a long time. Either
This-
Clap Hands or Clap Hans. I don't know.
This series is sort of a blind spot to me because I don't really tend to like Mario Golf or golfing games in general. So I've never I've seen them forever. Like I remember seeing everybody's golf on PS4. I very much remember Hot Shots Golf. I think they did like at least 3 of them on PS2. Like I'm familiar with
Yeah, that
its
sounds right.
existence. I've just never. And then there was, what was it? Super Swing Golf, Pangea Golf on Wii, which is like not everybody's golf, but is like everybody's golf, just not in name or whatever. Like I've seen these again for like ever, but I've never engaged with any of them.
Yeah, I played Hot Shots Golf on the PS2, like at a friend's house once or
Yeah.
twice.
I played the PSP one and the PS4 version. I really, or the Vita version. Sorry, the PS Vita one was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
my thing is I was mostly a Nintendo kid,
Mm.
so if I was playing like a quirky sports game, I was usually booting up Mario Golf or Mario Tennis or something. But
Yeah.
I would play this, 'cause especially since Mario Golf on the Switch wasn't very good.
Yeah, I didn't like the changes to that one. It was like just a
It's
little too
funny.
different for me.
It's funny because like the Switch Mario Golf is the only one I've ever even like gotten a little bit into. But I'd definitely be interested in trying this out. It's just, there's like a billion other things on my list.
Yeah. Do you know what's funny too? This game is actually not made by the Everybody's Golf team.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's made by a Bandai team, Hyde.
Interesting.
HYDE.
So basically Sony was kind of like, here, do something with this.
Yeah, so I don't know what I think Clap Hands made it like a VR game recently. Like
Oh,
Oh, this is a
Ultimate.
new studio.
They made like a Digimon game.
oh, interesting.
One of the
It also-
Digimon survived or something.
It's also somewhat worth noting that this is actually not. This is the third. There's Patapon, Everybody's Golf, and Bamco also licensed the Freedom Wars.
Oh yes, I keep forgetting.
That's right, I forgot.
Remaster that came out relatively recently, which was also a Japan Studio series.
Yeah.
So my my request is for them to license Gravity Rush
Yeah.
and get both of those out on PC and Switch,
Great.
and more importantly, Tokyo Jungle.
No, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Bamco, if you can hear me, Tokyo Jungle.
So this is really interesting. I'm reading like their press release for Everybody's Golf Hot Shots.
Hmm.
And it really just seems like they're trying to like be like, hey, do you remember Hot Shots? If you don't remember Everybody's Golf, they're the same thing. Because it's saying
Yeah.
classic golf gameplay from the Everybody's Golf and Hot Shots golf series.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
I
later
mean,
it says like that it's formerly known as Hot Shots Golf in North America. Gets
Well, I
improved
mean,
graphics. So I wonder if it's like old maps. I'm curious if
it
it's like
says Wikipedia says it's new.
no, I think it's a new game, but maybe it has like some old courses in it. I'm not sure.
I think that if anything, I think it might just be trying to leverage the only time that game series had any clout outside of Japan.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Because I don't think anybody that I've ever spoken to knew that Everybody's Golf and Hot Shots Golf were the same thing.
Yeah.
Even if they played Hot Shots Golf.
Yeah, they
back
didn't really make it clear.
in the
So
early
it's definitely
aughts.
bringing
Yeah.
back that subtitle might be really smart. But
Kind of
yeah,
seems like
I really
a
like those
course
games, so I'm
correction
excited for
there.
those.
Yeah.
Hot Shots Golf is a better name.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I'm glad to see it. I think it's cool. I mean, if Sony wants to license their content to another studio so that either new entries or remasters get made, then that's a win-win.
I mean, it helps Sony and it helps Namco. So
Who did they license Fantavision to? Was that also Bamco?
I don't remember.
Because I remember that Fantavision game came out.
Yeah, it's like
few years ago.
20XX or something. I always but on
that's a good
Steam,
question.
I don't know
Yeah, it
what
came
else
out
it
on
came out on.
It came out on PS5 and Steam.
Right. Okay, so it was just those two.
Um,
Which I don't think Fantavision was the thing that I was dying to see come back, but I think it's neat that it exists.
Yeah, it's just crazy that it came back.
Yeah.
It did like no numbers on Steam and has 31 reviews. Oh, very sad.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
But yeah, very
Optimo Machia. Same people who developed it published it.
Interesting.
Interesting. But yeah,
Um,
I stand by Tokyo Jungle. Give me Tokyo Jungle,
yeah,
Vanco.
I would love more of that stuff.
Put that shit out on modern platforms.
Another small one that I want to talk about, Witchbrook. Just cool to see this again. I know this game was announced 2017, I think.
Holy crap.
So seeing it finally seem like it's going to be an actual video game is cool. So I hope it's good. I like Stardew, so I keep my eye open for games like that, but not many have been able to scratch the itch, so we'll see.
Well, they didn't
Yeah.
make Star.
No, they did not make Stardew, but
No, they made 2 games that I don't like. So
What are they?
Starbound and
Yeah.
Wargroove.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Wargroove people. Okay. Is it Chucklefish?
Yeah, Chucklefish.
I don't know if they're like also developer or if they're just publisher or like how
They're a
that.
developer.
Okay.
Chucklefish developed Wargroove and Starbound. They've published a lot.
Yeah.
They published Stardew Valley. They published
Yeah, the only reason I mentioned Stardew is because it's similar, cozy.
sure.
There's a vibe, yeah.
Mhm.
They published oh god, what's that game that Randy Pitchford's studio bought
God.
recently?
Gearbox.
Oh no,
Risk of Rain. The original Risk of Rain.
Risk of Rain's really good, and it's sad like Gearbox owns it.
Yeah. Heard some things about that. One of the small ones I wanted to mention is Marvel Cosmic Invasion, now that I remember the name. And the reason that I care at all is I don't really care about Marvel that much outside of the context of like Marvel versus Capcom. But it is by Tribute, which also did TMNT Shredder's Revenge, which was very solid.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I think it's kind of neat that it's like, so it's, you can have, it's obviously local online co-op, but you actually have 2 characters each.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like you tag in, yeah, so it's a tag team beat 'em up. Like you pick 2 characters and you can switch between them. And I think they'll just do really good things with this game. I don't think Shredder's Revenge is as good as like Streets of Rage 4, but it's still a very solid game, and it's definitely better than from what I've seen of the Power Rangers one.
Yeah, I've not
apparently has gotten better,
and it's really expensive.
I've heard it's gotten better, but in any case, I think Tribute does pretty decently with beat 'em ups. They did Scott Pilgrim way back. They did TMNT Shredder's Revenge. I think Shredder's Revenge in general plays really well, so I'm curious and happy to see them doing another game, especially if it's a licensed beat 'em up, which I think are like really fun, and you want those games to turn out well. So
I'm gonna be real with you. I thought Shredder's Revenge looked pretty good. I'm not the biggest like 2D beat 'em up guy.
yeah,
I thought that Scott Pilgrim game was really bad.
I've heard that a lot. I've played a little bit of it.
I didn't realize that was the same people.
So
yeah,
I think people liked it for the visuals.
The soundtrack's amazing.
Kind of slow. I really didn't. I didn't like their other game, Mercenary Kings. But no, I think despite that, I think Shredder's Revenge is really good.
Mercenary Kings was them too. That game sucks. Also,
yeah, that game's not good. They've gotten better. I will say.
It's funny because they did Panzer Paladin as well, which I actually really like.
I didn't play that.
So
shot, maybe.
They can be a little hit or miss sometimes, but I think at this point,
they've gotten better over the years.
Yeah, in terms of beat 'em ups, I think
And again, I'm not huge on beat 'em ups either, but I thought Shredder's Revenge was like fun enough to play through most of the game, and so
I thought this game looked amazing. Pixel art looked really good. I'm not a comic book guy, but I was just like, damn, son, that looks like it looks like a Super Nintendo or like an arcade game, right?
Yeah.
It has that aesthetic. It doesn't look like it's trying to emulate that aesthetic. It looks like it's that aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shredder's Revenge I like because it looked like a Game Boy Advance beat 'em up game.
Yeah.
They're really good at pixel style. Like they're
I
just
want to say they did Ninja Senki as well. I can't
they did,
remember.
yes.
Okay,
I
I
was on I
really
was
like
on their
Ninja
page.
Senki.
They did.
Yeah, okay. So I like Ninja Senki a lot as well. So like, yeah, they have an interesting back catalog, but I'm just very happy to see them doing another beat 'em up because they're obviously have done pretty well with it. And I'm never gonna say his name right, but T Lopes, T Lopez, I don't know how you say his name. He's already
It's
confirmed to be
it's
back.
it's Lopez.
Okay, it is T Lopez.
Yeah,
The S is what confuses me.
sure.
Yeah, he already confirmed he's doing the soundtrack for just like Shredder's Revenge. So
The music was
um,
really good in the trailer,
yeah,
like
yeah,
for real.
yeah. Um, so there's that, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
Do we want to? Is there any other like
Uh,
small
I mean,
things, or do we want to move on to the?
I think Shadow Labyrinth was the only other one I
Oh
had, and I
yeah,
think you had Goldman.
yes,
So
yeah,
Shadow Labyrinth, real quick. That's the edgy Pac-Man game.
yeah,
Visually, I don't love the visual style, but I do think it might be a kind of fun Metroidvania with Pac-Man. So I'm curious about how that goes because it's a
yeah.
very silly concept, and I'm so glad they're making it.
It's very it's definitely very edge, which is a turnoff for me. Um, I do think it's interesting that you can like you're basically three different characters essentially. Like going between the sword person and Pac-Man and then like the mecha thing. Um, so I'm curious. The initial trailer of this from Game Awards, I was not into it at all. This trailer, I thought the game itself looked more interesting, so I'm keeping an open mind to it.
Yeah, I thought visually it looked really bad. It looks like a bad Flash game.
Yeah, I didn't
But
quite
the
feel that way,
concept
but
is funny. The concept I
the
think is
concept is
funny
really
enough that
funny.
like I think the concept is funny enough that if they kind of lean into it and have fun with it,
Yeah.
that it could be cool. It was weird to see like Pac-Man being there,
Yeah,
like
it's like,
running across
why?
the like running across the ceiling like in
Yeah.
Pac-Man form.
Yeah, there's like a novelty to it. The other one was that Eternal Life of Goldman, um, which has this sort of hand-drawn look. It's a 2D platformer. Um, seems like there's upgrades and stuff like that, so maybe not necessarily level to level. The main thing that caught my attention, of course, was that he has a pogo stick like Scrooge. Um, I don't really know much else about the game other than that you can upgrade his cane. But I'm keeping an eye on it. I just think it looks satisfying and looks well put together, so I'm curious to see more of it.
Any game that has ever like gone for that pogo stick like mechanic,
Yeah.
it's usually very satisfying. I can only think of a few games that have done it. Other than DuckTales, obviously, was
Right.
Tropical Freeze has it with Cranky,
Yep.
Shovel Knight has it,
Yep.
Hollow Knight kinda has it. It's a little bit more involved in Hollow Knight because you have to like you don't just hold the cane out when you jump. You have to like kind of time a downward swipe,
Yeah.
but you still keep the momentum as you go.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a good mechanic that hasn't been explored so much that it's like tired. So if you nail it, game's probably going to be pretty fun to play at the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And it helps that it looks like Cuphead kinda. I mean, it doesn't look
Yeah.
identical to Cuphead, but it kinda has a similar, like, rubber hosey animation almost.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing, does anyone know, so they showed that like Disney Cursed Cafe thing. Does
Oh,
anyone
yeah,
know if it's like
Valhalla
the
Disney.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if it was like if the Coffee Talk people did it or like if anyone knows.
I have no
I
idea.
have no idea either.
I know it's not the Valhalla devs, but,
Yeah.
it might be one of those coffee talk.
Yeah. Like it looked kind of neat.
There's a lot of those games now, though.
Yeah. I'm kind of not really into those kind of games, but I kind of appreciate that they exist. Um, but yeah.
Yeah, the to I know it's gonna make me sound like an old, like, curmudgeon or whatever, but, like, the Valhalla was interesting because it's not a cozy, like, feel good
Yeah.
fucking find this lost cat in the Alps thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Valhalla is interesting because it's, like, this almost soul-crushing critique of, like, living in a hyper-capitalist thing, because it's like, you're going to work every night as a bartender, and all the people that you meet are kinda cool or kinda crazy or whatever, but, like, you are coming home every night. You have to pay your bills.
Right.
There's always, like, collectibles and, like, stuff like that that you want to decorate your apartment that are kind of out of reach of your finances because you don't make enough money to pay your bills.
Right.
Like, there's a lot more going on to Valhalla than it just being, like, a cute,
We're
like,
chilling in a coffee shop and having
"We're chilling." Yeah,
conversations.
oh, man, isn't it so twee and nice that we are in this
Yeah.
place, and, "Oh,
Yeah.
look, it's the gay dragon," you know?
Yeah.
It not that there's necessarily anything wrong with a cozy
No.
game or anything, but it's just so, like, I feel like we've been inundated with it. Give me something with, like, grit if we're gonna
Yeah.
have that kind of thing. I mean, Gaston's in it. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Cruella's in it. That's all I really cared about. I saw Cruella and I saw Ursula and I'm like, yeah, these bitches mine.
Well,
You
if we're
know,
talking
Slay
about,
Diva.
I think if we've reached the point in the chat where we're talking about Disney coffee talk, I think it's probably time to move on to the
Yes. Yeah.
virtual game cards.
So this was weird. And in the middle of the presentation, they were just like, "Hey, we're doing a thing for a system update in like a month, and we're gonna have a 3-minute video that explains it not particularly well." Um, so I guess it's a change to how digital games work, but also doesn't replace the old way digital games work. Like you have an option apparently. Of either you can use the current system, which is like, primary system, secondary system. Secondary system needs to use the internet to check before it can play digital games. Or you can do these virtual game cards, which is a game by game basis, and you can like when you initially transfer the game, it needs to connect, and then after that, you don't need the internet anymore. Um, I think So I guess I'm just gonna say my piece on it real quick, and then I'll let you guys take it. I think it's interesting. I think one thing I like is that since it adds a new button to the menu, you get an at a glance look at your digital library, which currently on Switch is kind of difficult actually to see and visualize because like if you don't have it downloaded to the system, and like you're on the eShop and you're doing like re-download or whatever, um, or like if you have like the Switch menu also has like any of your like actual physical card-based games there too. Like it's just not particularly easy to visual. Like it's not like the PlayStation 4 I think has like the library button or whatever where you can kind of see like all of your stuff. This to me is kind of similar to that in terms of that element of it. Um, but it's interesting. I like the idea of being able to lend stuff. I just wish you could lend to your family group over the internet and not require a local connection for this. I think they did a not great job at explaining it. I think I had to watch that video at least like 3 times to fully understand like what was going on. My one thing that I noticed that I haven't seen anyone mention yet is that with them being virtual game cards, they show up on the menu with the same icon as a physical game card, which to me is visually confusing if I'm trying to find the game that I have actually plugged into my cart slot. I wish they used like a different color or
I
something.
mean, won't that card usually always be at the top
It
left?
will when the first time when you insert it, it gets moved to the
Oh,
front of
got
the
it.
list. But so it's like I don't know. I feel like they could have used like even if it was just the same icon, but like red or like I don't know, blue or something like or I don't remember what color it is. It's like a teal color. They could have done like a jungle green or something, and I'd be like, okay, cool. This is digital. This is a fake game card. This is a not like I don't know. It's it's definitely more of a way of managing, I think, multiple Switch ownership, and definitely a way of managing it for when Switch 2 happens and people want to transfer stuff to Switch 2. There's like an option to not like have everything reside on one system, especially for portable mode where you're not always going to have an internet connection.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to handle it.
Like
I
I could, yeah,
definitely I don't know if I see the full appeal or if it's something I'll use because once I have a
yeah,
Switch 2, will I bother using my Switch 1 very much? Like, what games would I ever choose to like put on that? I don't
right.
know, but
The
if you're like
actual,
maybe if you've like a kid or something or a younger sibling, then maybe it's
yeah,
great for
I think it's
that.
easier for like actual IRL families, especially if they have like kids. Like, you can have a concept of like buying, like not necessarily needing to buy the same digital game on two accounts. Um, even if that is probably still going to result in the kids fighting over it. Like it's kind of weird. Like it does a couple of things that are neat, but like it has a bunch of half measures. Like you can lend a game for 14 days, but you can only lend it locally. And like, you can like locally transfer the game to someone, but it has to be someone who's in your family group. So it's like it's
And you have to be local.
right. So it's
So
like,
my family group is all online, so it's kind of a
yeah,
useless feature for me.
like my sister is not part of my Switch family group, but I would like to loan her a game because we're local, but I can't because she's not part of my family group. And then my actual family group is not necessarily local to me, so I can't loan them anything because I need to be local with them to to loan something. I don't think it's a bad concept to be able to like lend someone a game. I like that. I just think like there's a couple of restrictions on it that make it very like suboptimal. Ignore
So
my
my
Pikmin in the background.
is that your alarm? Is that your
Wow.
alarmo?
Yeah, it's my alarm
Why do you
going
have the
off.
hourly alarm on? Oh
Jesus
my
I
god.
love
Christ.
them. I love my hourly things.
I
Wow.
still haven't bought an alarmo because I'm not that much of a mark.
Yeah, I'm a mark.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean
a,
I
I,
have one,
I
but
I'm a pretty big mark, but I'm not. I'll buy it when because I actually saw alarmos in Target the other day, and I
Yeah.
was like, those bitches going to be on clearance in 6 months, and I was like, I'll buy one that's $50. Anyway, this this virtual card thing, watching the direct for me when they announced it was ping ponging back and forth between wow, that seems kind of useless to oh, that's pretty cool, back to
Right.
that's useless, back
Yeah.
to oh, that's pretty cool, and then it ends on because the last time I ping ponged back to oh, that's cool, that's actually really good was when they said that you could lend games, the digital games to your family group,
Yeah.
which 90% of my family group is actually local to me. Because it's literally my family. It's my mom, my sister, my two nieces.
Yeah.
Um, but then I found out like they would have to come over for me to lend them to them, which is ridiculous. Which
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's not that big of a
It's
deal, but it's still kind of ridiculous.
and then it's a
Like it,
14-day loan, and then if you want
And
to
then it's
yeah.
a
lend again,
14
they got
day
to come
loan.
back over.
And it's a
Yeah.
14-day loan. So like
Yeah.
I ping ponged right from oh I could like lend Kirby because I have Kirby digitally, Forgotten Land. I
Yeah.
could lend that to my nieces and let them and my nephew play it because the other day I was playing that with my nephew and he like really liked it. He's like 4, so
Yeah.
it's like the perfect like kind of game for him to just like screw around in with like pretty low stakes. But then it's like oh it's 2 weeks and they'd have to refresh it and I'm just like this
Yeah.
is useless to
Like
me
it's like,
practically speaking. Like this is
yeah, I don't even mind the 2-week thing so much as it's like not only does it need to connect online, it also needs to connect locally. I feel like
yeah
you can
it's
if it's part of your family group, you should just be able to loan them the game online.
if and indefinitely.
Yeah, I mean that obviously that would be nice, but like just on a basic functionality level, like you're already authenticating the digital loan online. Why are we why are we authenticating it locally as well? Like,
But like
Yeah.
that is really stupid. But I
Either
can't even get past the 2 week thing.
I think
Even
they
if
should
I
Yeah.
have
couldn't,
been loaned to anyone in your family plan, no matter what, or loaned to anybody locally. I think both of them just
yeah,
makes it too restrictive
yeah. Like if
for
I could
almost anyone to
locally
actually
lend
use.
something to my sister or to someone who's not in my family plan, that does have a practical use. If I want to, you know, um, yeah, if I want to maybe like being able to loan it to someone on your friends list, like that has a practical use, even if it is 14 days. But it's
I just
like
don't get the 14
weird.
day thing at all.
Yeah,
It's like
it's kind of weird.
if I can't play it on my account while they have it, then who cares?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I could understand if it worked like game sharing does for a lot of the
Mhm.
other consoles, where like if you game share, both people can play it at the same time, which is a thing that
Right.
works. In some
Yeah.
ways, I'm not super privy to it because I've never really done it. Um, yeah, I guess I could see that they would want to have a time limit on it, but if I
Yeah.
am lending a game to somebody and I can't play it while they have it, why is there a time limit at all? It's just stupid. This is
Yeah.
like Wii U era Nintendo bullshit that like I thought we were a little bit done with.
Yeah. It's
And
like
it's just kind of like get this shit out of my face, dog. Like
yeah.
stop trying to be cute. Just make the thing work like
Yeah.
normal. It's not funny anymore.
Yeah, it's like if even if it was like a month or it was like, you loan it out and then like you could call it back, I guess, if you wanted to, like the owner of
Or
it.
if it was like or if it had, like, a time limit that was, like, ridiculous, like a year or, like,
Yeah.
even 6 months or something.
Yeah.
2 weeks?
Yeah,
Like,
2
come
weeks
on.
is yeah. And I mean,
It makes
I
it seem more like for most games, they want it to function like a demo
oh
that
yeah.
somebody already paid for,
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
Like
Like,
DS download play.
yeah, even
Yeah.
worse than that, but
Yeah.
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 At
Yeah.
least the DS download play had the bonus of like, "Oh, me and my friends can play Mario Kart if only I have it," you know?
Right. Yeah. Now it's you can play my copy, but only for 2 weeks.
Yeah. I it and then what happens at the end of 2 weeks? Does the license just automatically come back
So,
to you, or do
Yeah,
you have to
yeah,
see
automatically
them
goes
in
back.
person
No,
again? Okay.
automatic.
no, at the end of 2 weeks, you automatically get
Yeah.
your shit back. Um,
Yeah,
which
I don't
again, I
know.
understand having some form of a time limit so that the original user, gets their shit back somehow automatically if it's been a while. But yeah, 14 days and also local transfer only is a choice.
Yeah, it's just stupid. Oh, I hate Nintendo.
I hope
Stupid
that
ass
maybe
company.
I hope that maybe over time, like, you know, shockingly, they do occasionally sometimes tweak things based on feedback. I do hope that over time that maybe it loosens a little bit, but
That's my hope too.
but
Um,
I don't necessarily have any belief that it will.
it kind of feels like they're preparing for a world where like uh like the EU or something might start saying, hey, like these digital purchases need to be shareable, and they can kind of say, look, we're doing it.
Right, yeah. It's like one of those like we're technically
Loopholes.
doing this and it's kind of
Right.
cute looking so we can kind of get away with it.
And it's just like we're doing like the bare minimum
Right.
to meet the standards
Mhm.
that are
Yeah. Now
yeah, I can see it.
I do think it has function for if you have multiple systems and you're just managing your own stuff, that you're able to, load up your secondary system with titles and not need an internet connection to play them when you're out and about. That I think has an actual use function. Like
Yeah, for
the
the like
current system right
2%.
now, yeah, like the current function with the secondary account is that you need to do an online check before, launching a game, and that's obviously not always something that you can even do depending on where you're at. Um, And again, it is definitely a small use case, but it does have some sort of actual functionality in that sense. I could see myself like having certain games on my Switch One, like, for example, those silly like IR camera games. Like I could see like putting those on my Switch, like my OLED for convenience, or something like that. But I think most people will just have everything on one system. That's just how that is.
Yeah, the only way my Switch 1 is getting any use after I get a Switch 2 is if those like weird rumors about being able to use it as a second screen are real.
Yeah, which
there's no
I don't buy.
world where I
Yeah, I
use the
don't
Switch
buy.
1 again. Or if I get like the fucking like urge to look at Labo again or something,
Yeah. Like
Ring Fit's a weird one because Ring Fit seems like
Ring
I
Fit,
imagine Ring Fit will work on the Switch too. You
it
just have
will, but
because I
Ring
think the old
Fit,
the
Ring
old
Fit's
Joy-Cons,
also
yeah,
physical
you're right.
only, except for Japan.
True.
So it doesn't even really apply. But yeah, I mean, there are certain use cases for that. And again, I do kind of like being able to see my digital library at a glance if it does indeed work that way. But
I'll give
other than
you
that,
but the
yeah.
fact that that's not something that is like better handled in the UI already,
Yeah, no, I know.
is a condemnation of
Sure.
Nintendo.
Yeah,
Is the second screen rumor, is that different from like the reverse Wii U mode thing, or is that the same?
I think that's a
This-
separate.
It's a separate rumor that I didn't look into. I could be spouting absolute nonsense. I saw it on pass through Twitter the other day that you could like connect the Switch 1 to the Switch 2 and use it as like a controller and as like a gamepad screen.
Which I don't believe at all.
I don't necessarily believe it. I'm just saying that's the only way the Switch 1's getting turned on.
Yeah.
After I get a Switch 2 is if that were to be true.
Yeah.
The point was to illustrate the long shot.
Yeah, it's a massive long shot. I guess we'll see with this because I feel like there's going to be a little bit more info on it in regards to like the Switch 2 implementation of it, I guess. And like for some reason they announced this now and it's not launching until the end of April.
Well,
I didn't even realize that.
Switch 2 exclusives and Switch 2 edition games will only work on Switch 2 consoles, so you won't be able to land Switch 2 games.
Right. I'm sorry. It does say late April. This feature will be available on Switch starting late April via system update, and they will also work on Switch 2 systems at launch. So, at the very least, day one for Switch 2, you have some sort of way to visualize your digital library, which is still an improvement, I guess. Other than trying to go through your purchase history and piece it together.
Just want to try to bring this to a close soon. I think we just had one more.
We got one more thing.
Topic, which was Nintendo today!
Exclamation point.
The hit new app.
Yeah. So
Nintendo's.
I actually really like this. I don't care about it for news at all. Because it does have news on it or whatever. There's like a countdown to the Switch 2 Direct, which is cute or whatever.
Yeah.
The things I like it for are twofold. One, it rolls like random cute Nintendo content at you every day, like from a pool. So like whether it's a Pikmin short video or like Fire Emblem art or like a Metroid story synopsis or what Kirby copy ability is this or whatever. Orchestra, performances, whatever. It rolls that each day, and when you look at those, it stores them in your previously viewed or whatever. And I think that's cute that you can get like. It reminds me of Wii Connect 24 a little bit in the sense of like you start it up every day and you find something there like waiting for you. I think that's nice. The other thing I think that's nice is the in-game event calendar because there's so many of those and they're hard to keep track of sometimes.
That's a good one.
The app having like, hey, Tetris 99 Cup this weekend, big run this weekend. And even like, I've noticed like a lot of the small stuff is in there. Like it'll give you, like it'll say like, Animal Crossing New Horizons, like you can get bamboo right now. And it'll be like, or it'll be like Pocket Camp. You can get like, it's this monthly event right now. I think that stuff is useful, and that it lets you turn stuff on, mostly on and off, and also optional notifications for it. Stuff like NSO drops and whatnot too. I think that has an actual use case. And I think it could be more nuanced. I do like it. The other thing is, yeah, it's obviously very much like a God, Twitter sucks. That's pretty much what that app is God, Twitter sucks. So I don't know how you guys felt.
I wake up every morning to the sound of my alarmo and check my Nintendo News calendar app to see what is happening. And
Yeah,
then I go outside for my morning walk with Pikmin Bloom.
yeah, and I listen to Nintendo music on my walk.
I listen to Nintendo music on my walk while playing Pikmin Bloom. Oh no, man. I don't know. It's cute. I downloaded it. I set it to Animal Crossing because if it's a calendar app, that's the most
Yeah,
appropriate one to have it set to, in my opinion.
yeah.
If I had an alarmo, I'd probably set it to Animal Crossing as well. Is there an Animal Crossing?
No,
It's not
there's
out
supposed
yet.
to be.
Oh,
It
It
was announced
stupid.
at launch. They said Mario Kart and Animal
Animal
Crossing are
Crossing.
coming later.
That's crazy.
Mario Kart is out, and then we've
And
had
Super
Mario
Bros. Is
Retro
out.
as well, but not Animal
Yeah,
Crossing.
Animal Crossing
That's
is not out
crazy.
yet.
It's very
That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's
I have-
crazy.
I have Pikmin set.
Yeah, I picked
I
it
like-
as
but
you
yeah.
guys
I
know.
like the Pikmin bedtime music.
Same.
I'm not like I don't want to sound like I'm super opposed to it because I'm not, but the like whole lifestyle thing is a little bit strange.
Yeah,
It's just a
Yeah.
little weird. It's a little weird.
it is a little weird. Yeah,
Pokemon sleep too. Like you're
Yeah.
like the Nintendo is like in your goddamn brain for every
Yeah.
moment.
and then when I come home from work, I can find some time to work on my fitness with Ring Fit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's Pikmin Bloom, Pokemon Go, like and
Yeah.
Ring Fit. Every facet of your fitness can be gamified by Nintendo. You brush your teeth with Pokemon Smile.
That's
Mm.
true. Yeah, that is
I don't-
true.
I wonder if anyone that uses Pokemon Smile in the Discord.
Anymore? Probably not. I downloaded it when it first came out, and to be honest with you, I think it is probably a good thing for kids to have because
Yeah.
because it actually kind of like encourages you to actually brush for the whole like 2.5 minutes,
Mhm.
which is
Yeah.
a thing I know as a child. I was not timing myself brushing teeth.
Yeah.
I'm
you know?
30 years old. I'm not doing 2.5 minutes. I'll be real with you.
Yeah, but it is just a little strange. I guess that there are worse things. Like at least a lot of these things encourage you to live a like slightly healthier
Yeah.
lifestyle.
No,
So
I like it.
Yeah.
that way you can live longer and give Nintendo more of your money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I downloaded it. It's cute. It's probably more useful to me than Nintendo Music. So
Yeah.
I guess there's that.
Yeah. What about you, Muffin?
Nintendo. Today. No, it's cute. I don't know. I haven't really done much with it, but it's a cute app.
Does the app, like you were talking about how it shows like events and stuff?
Yeah.
Does it know what games you have, or does it just show you everything?
So it does. It has. So basically, it has some games it knows that you have. It doesn't know, for example, if you have Pocket Camp. It doesn't. For some reason, it also doesn't know if you have Pokemon Scarlet Violet. But there's a section in the settings that basically says like games played in the last 3 months, and it lists like stuff that you have that's been played in the last 3 months. Now you still have to like enable notifications for them. Like it doesn't fill your calendar with shit by default. But right now, for example, I believe it has let me see, I have it right here.
I just looked at mine and it shows me the current like banner in Fire Emblem Heroes.
Right, yeah.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah. So
Mine says other ongoing events.
yeah.
Mario Run, Smash Ultimate and again Mario Run. I don't get Fire Emblem showing up for today.
So mine says games played in the past 3 months: Pikmin Bloom, Splatoon 3, F-Zero 99, Tetris 99, Mario Run. Then it has previously played games, which is just, I guess, anything you've ever played. So Animal Crossing, Mario Kart Tour, Fire Emblem Heroes, and Smash Ultimate. And then there's the other category, which is Pocket Camp Complete and Pokemon Scarlet Violet for whatever reason. And you can individually enable events for all of those on a game by game, app by app basis. And then you can also enable general events such as Nintendo Direct notifications, Switch Online stuff, release/distribution date such as demos, and then quote unquote recommended events, which is described as we will inform you of related events centered on your favorite game series, which is kind of vague. And there's also other events, which is stuff about tournaments, trial sessions, and other events held in various regions. And all of those can be turned off and on as well.
So that's all like turning it off and on is showing up in the calendar, but do any of those like function as push notifications?
You can enable push notifications for them, but it's weird because to enable push notifications for an event, it has to be an event that already exists. So like I can't enable it to be like, hey, send me a push notification when a new Tetris 99 cup shows up.
It's like you just read my mind because that was the one. That would be like one of the things I would want, you know.
But when the Tetris 99 cup is announced, you can click on it and have it send you a push notification when it goes live.
Okay.
I guess that's real enough because I'll see the announcement.
Yeah.
The problem is they announce it like a week to 2 weeks before it happens, and then by the time it comes out, I sometimes like get to Monday and I'm like, oh shit.
To give you an idea of some of the like ongoing events, if you have a lot of these categories on, like some of the stuff that'll give you that you may not necessarily think of. Monthly mission, Super Mario 64, Mario 3, missions and rewards for my Nintendo. Special goals, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete, Chammy Tuna goals. Pikmin Bloom, Rio Carnival event. Icon Element, Xenoblade X for missions and rewards. Stuff like that is in there. It's relatively in depth. Now
that's kind of cute.
It hides a lot of. So pretty much how it works is that like the day that an event starts, it gets like the larger display with like an icon or whatever, and then there's basically this thing that says other ongoing events, essentially for stuff that's just continuous, and that is more of like a list. But even the lists, you can click on it. And you can set it to give you a notification about it, and it will show like the duration of the event or whatever.
That's cool. I can actually kind of see the use cases for all that.
Yeah,
that actually kind of goes beyond being like a something that they cooked up because like Twitter
blows or whatever. Yeah. So like,
I just need to get on Blue Sky. What are they doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so apparently, so far, midnight is when the like cute content stuff refreshes, and then they typically have news drops at 10 a.m. Eastern. I guess is the thing right now.
So is does it refresh at midnight your time, like local time? Or?
I know it refreshes at 12 a.m. Eastern for me. That's all I can really say.
Okay, I think we're all East Coast, so there'd be no way for us to check right now.
But there's a couple of things that'll show up at the top, like relevant news stuff from recent times. Like they've been kind of slowly cycling like the different like Nintendo Direct trailers from this past week. Like I think today it was like, oh, Tomodachi Life or whatever. It'll have has a countdown to the Switch 2 Direct. And if there's not anything like specific like going on at that point, like it'll have like some recent relevant news, and then it will refresh the cute little content things that it gives you, like the, you know, whether it's a Kirby 25th anniversary orchestra performance or, you know, an explanation of like, I don't know, Xenoblade bullshit, or I got like a Metroid Dread Samus suit like concept art gallery.
There is not enough room on that app to explain Xenoblade, dude.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess
There's that.
I guess I have two more minor questions because I feel like we could wrap it up here pretty soon.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You mentioned that Scarlet and Violet aren't there. Is any Pokemon stuff there?
So they are there. It's just that they're listed under other for some reason. Like
Always under other.
it can't
Like
tell that you've played them, I guess.
You can select
Okay.
them though.
You can select them.
Okay, I guess my actual question, does it because it picks up Pocket Camp, it picks up Bloom.
Yeah.
Does it pick up Pokemon Go? Does it pick up
It does
TCG Pocket?
it doesn't have anything Pokemon other than Scarlet Violet.
So I noticed also that when you first boot the app up, it's like, what Nintendo
Yeah.
games do you like? And this is
Yeah.
actually tying slightly into my second thing because I noticed something kind of funny in there.
Mhm.
I noticed that like they're like Mario and Animal Crossing and Zelda and then like Donkey Kong. But instead of just having like Wario, it was very specifically WarioWare.
Oh, that's funny.
Wario Land is dead,
Very
man.
Yeah.
Like that like they didn't even like generic Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Donkey Konga has more clout in that app than
Yeah.
Wario Land does, with them specifically mentioning WarioWare. But I
Yeah.
noticed that they didn't mention Pokemon at all.
Yeah,
And I was
Pokemon's
just
not in there.
wondering, like, Pokemon Company's like mobile game stuff is so separate from Nintendo's.
It is, yeah.
Like so separate.
Yeah.
Like the Cafe Mix and Masters EX and Go and all of those things just feel like they're not even Nintendo.
Yeah.
They're not. It's almost like they're not even related to Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's
It's
kind of
weird.
crazy how like separate it is on mobile specifically. It's like you would almost think that Pokemon's not a Nintendo property.
Yeah, it's very weird. And yeah, none of those apps, like Pokemon TCG, Pokemon Go, none of those appear at all in that app. The only Pokemon thing that appears in that app right now is Pokemon Scarlet Violet.
That's weird. And why Scarlet Violet specifically? Like,
I guess
why
they're just
not? Why
going
not
with
all
like
of it?
yeah, I guess they're just going with like it's I guess well
Oh,
they have
the
like
game
they have, like,
events are like only like specific in-game events for that game. Like there's no
Yeah.
like Pokemon setting for the app yet, or like I guess
Yeah.
it's still separate.
but like
Well, that too. Yeah, like there's
yeah,
nothing.
but like I guess it's kind of similar with Splatoon 3 and 2. Like they only have Splatoon 3. They
Mhm.
don't have Splatoon 2, even though it does have like rotation stuff.
Oh, I guess
So
that's
I guess
valid.
that's kind of what it is. Like the most recent thing, I guess. I don't really fully know. It is definitely odd. And I know there's some quirks so far. Like I don't believe the next Splatfest is like on the calendar yet, even though it's like coming up. I know some people had bugs where it decided to show them like every single NSO game release like ever all on one day. So like there's obviously some kinks that are being worked out, but it does have notifications for NSO content drops, NSO icon drops, Nintendo Music drops. Apparently like game trials and demo releases and game releases and stuff like that too. So it's like I think there's an actual use case for that calendar, and I guess you can put it as a widget if you want to. I don't really use widgets, but like you know, you can.
Oh, that could
that.
actually make it even more useful.
Yeah, I mean, I personally will just open the thing up instead. I just don't care about widgets, but
Honestly, though, I really just wish TCGV Pocket or TCG
Yeah.
Pocket was in there.
Yeah, same. That's the only like Pokemon app that I really care about at all. So, but yeah, it seems not. So I mean, who knows what the future holds there? But I think it's pretty telling that at launch, the only Pokemon stuff there is Scarlet Violet.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's cute. I like it. I'm not gonna lie. I like it. I think the calendar animations are cute.
Yeah,
I think the
I
little
like it as
content
well.
pieces are cute.
My main complaint is you can't like just like if I just want to see all the Metroid stuff that was posted on the app, you can't really do
Yeah.
that yet.
Yeah, it's pretty much just like whatever it rolls for you, and then you can go into your previous browsing history and see day by day
Yeah, so
essentially
not
what was
very
rolled for you.
convenient.
Yeah. Which I think is kind of the point. Like, they don't want to just give it to all of you because the idea is that they're just giving you like a couple pieces a day and they have like an archive essentially.
Yeah.
And they
Um,
want you to look at it every day.
Yeah, exactly. So like one of the things is that even if there's not news that day, it's still going to roll you cute content pieces that you haven't gotten yet from their
Which is
giant
cute.
archive or whatever. Which it's annoying on one hand, but it's also kind of cute on the other. Again, that's why I kind of liken it to WeConnect 24 because it's like you check this thing every day and there's like at least one or two like little cute things waiting for you to look, and then you can close it and never look at it again for that day or whatever.
And you can tell where all of our interests lie because we got through this entire conversation without mentioning that they announced the release date of the Zelda movie
Oh,
on the
yeah,
first day
that's
that the
true.
app was live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they seem to be pretty serious about actually putting some like, important news in there as opposed to like just recaps or countdowns or whatever. So I'm
Yeah,
curious to see, but
my theory is that if that Robobot remaster does exist that everybody keeps
yeah,
talking about, I think that'll be the first game announced in this
Yeah.
thing.
It's just on the Nintendo app. Yeah.
I could see them definitely doing that.
That's my theory. Is if that thing
Yeah.
is real, that's where we're gonna see it.
I can definitely. I mean, if they're willing to announce the movie release date for Zelda exclusively in the app, then I think they're willing to announce a lot of things in that app to keep people being like, oh, like actual
Smart.
stuff happens here, so you should
'Cause
probably open this.
It means like news sites have to keep looking at it too.
Yeah, it's like a news source, which is really
Yeah.
funny.
Okay, so
but yeah.
I'm gonna call it there.
Yeah,
Video games, they're
video
happening.
games.
We're
We'll-
excited for
we'll-
the Switch 2 Direct. We'll see you. We'll see you guys in a week.
Yeah,
I mean,
Probably
then-
less than a week.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, this time
true.
next week though, we'll know so much more, and it's an
Kind of
exciting
scary.
time to be a video game fan.
Yeah, kind of scary as well. But
I
yeah,
mean, I'm not scared. I just
I'm
know
not
I'm going to be
scared.
annoyed. I know I'm going to be annoyed because it's going to be expensive.
yep,
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
for potting with me, and
yeah. Thanks for not
Good
talking
list.
about High on Life.
yeah, thank you.
Why would I ever talk about High on Life?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I'm pickled